The drama begins with Jung, whose parents passed away 7 years ago. She is responsible for her younger sister, Danby. They live in a rented house, but the landlady demands the overdue rent and tells Jung to vacate the place, giving her a 1-month deadline. Danby is often bullied by her classmates at school because she has no parents. One day, on her way home from school, she stops in front of a restaurant, watching through the glass as a father eats with his daughter. She looks at them longingly, wishing she had a father like the other kids. The restaurant owner notices her and steps outside. "What are you doing here?" he asks. "I'm just watching," she replies. "You can't stand here alone," he tells her. "Where are your parents?" "I don't have a mom or dad," she says. At that moment, Sewell happens to pass by and witnesses the conversation. The restaurant owner tells Danby, "You're bothering the customers. You need to leave immediately." Sewell intervenes, saying, "I'm her guardian. What's the problem?" The restaurant owner quickly backs off. "There's no problem," he says. Sewell then takes Danby inside the restaurant and treats her to her favorite meal. Meanwhile, Jung anxiously waits for her sister to come home, having prepared dinner for her. When Danby finally returns, she tells Jung, "I'm not hungry. Don't you ever wish we had a father?" Jung is shocked by the question and saddened by her sister's pain. She replies, "Of course, my love. I wish we had a father, but you mean the world to me." The next day at work, a man approaches Jung and asks, "Are you Jung?" "Yes," she replies. "I heard you're looking for a father," he says. "You must have the wrong person," she responds. At that moment, the handsome Sol walks in and hands her his business card. "My name is Sol Yu Sang," he says, "and I want to be your father." Jung is bewildered by his words. Sewell asks if they can talk. "Danby is your sister, right?" he asks. "Yes. How do you know that?" she replies. He explains that he saw what happened to Danby outside the restaurant. When he invited her in, he noticed that she wasn't eating, but instead tearing up her food. Concerned, he asked, "You were hungry, weren't you? Why aren't you eating?" She replied, "Honestly, I wasn't standing outside because I wanted food. I was standing there because I wanted a father like that little girl." Sol then asks her, "Do you really need a father?" "Of course," she replies. "In that case, I need a daughter," he tells her. "That's why I prepared this contract and came to see you." Jung looks at him skeptically. "How old are you?" she asks. "I'm 28, he answers. "You're only 5 years older than me. Do you even realize how ridiculous that sounds?" she says. Sol calmly explains, "I know you need a place to live, and that's what matters to you. This contract is only for 1 month. He then reveals why the contract is important to him. A month ago, his grandmother passed away and left a will stating that her inheritance would only go to someone who has at least 1 daughter. The clause is valid for 2 months after her death, and 1 month has already passed. Since Sol is unmarried and has no children, he risks losing the inheritance. So he started looking for someone to adopt. Since he wanted to adopt Danby, he also had to adopt her older sister, Jung. Jung refuses and rejects the contract, but days later, her landlady tells her that she has only 1 week left before she is evicted. With no other options, she decides to accept Sol's offer. Sol welcomes them, saying, "You'll live on the 2nd floor, and I'll stay downstairs. But there are rules we need to follow since we're living together." Jung is shocked. "You're living here too? That wasn't in the contract." "What's the problem?" he says. "We're family now." A week later, Danby goes to school for the first time with a father. Jung texts her to check in, and Danby replies, "I'm fine. Dad even called to check on me today. He was so nice." One day, Sol's friend visits their home and asks, "Is this your new girlfriend?" Sol firmly responds, "No, she's the maid." After that, Sol becomes stricter with Jung, telling her, "We need to maintain a proper distance. We have to be careful until the contract ends so people don't misunderstand our relationship." Later, while Jung is at work, 2 women suddenly show up and ask, "Are you Jung?" "Yes," she replies. They angrily say, "Your sister Danby attacked our daughters at school. We're calling the police and will take legal action." Her coworker tries to defend her, but before he can, Sewell enters and interrupts the argument. One of the women says, "Her phone was off." As they continue to argue, Sol cuts them off and says, "For your information, I have security footage showing that your daughters were the ones who hit Danby first. Should we call the police and handle this legally?" The mothers panic and ask, "And who are you?" He hands them his business card and says, "I'm Danby's legal guardian." Immediately, their tone changes. "Kids always get into fights," they say. "There's no need for legal action. Let's just forget about it." They quickly leave after making a scene. When Jung returns home from work, she finds Sol there and asks, "Shouldn't you be at work?" "I canceled my appointments today," he replies. "I want us to go out somewhere, just you and me." They go out, and Sol buys a tent, toys, and other things for Danby so she can fit in with her friends at school. Jung questions him. "Didn't you say we should keep our distance in public?" "You're right," he says. Then he tells her about his childhood, how he was an orphan raised by his grandmother, and how his life was very similar to hers. That's why Sol understood all of Jung's emotions. She realized that behind his sharp exterior was a kind heart. At the same time, she found herself attracted to him, but was afraid of falling in love. A hidden camera was recording them together. The next morning, Sol received a call from Danby's school. A teacher told him, "Danby gave me this number and said it belongs to her father." "That's right," Sol replied. "I'm her father." The teacher said, "Danby needs you right now." Without hesitation, he called his secretary, canceled all his meetings, and rushed to the school. He handled all of Danby's problems and even bought her toys and gifts. When they returned home, Jung asked, "What's that in your hands?" Danby excitedly said, "Daddy bought it for me. He got me lots of gifts. Daddy is the best man in the world." Again, a hidden camera captured this moment, and the cameraman overheard Danby calling Sol Daddy. Sol's main goal in life had always been to protect his grandmother's wealth from his uncle and secure his company, but now, people around him noticed that the once serious CEO had become more emotional and genuinely happy. For the first time, he had goals beyond work. One of his colleagues commented, "You've really changed. You're always in a good mood now." Sol replied, "I don't even know what's happening to me, but I just want to stay happy like this forever." Meanwhile, at work, Jung received a notification on her phone. A viral article was circulating on social media with pictures of her and Sol, titled, "Sol and His New Lover." She was devastated and terrified. That night, when she got home, Jo-hoo insisted she cancel the contract immediately and move in with his mother along with Danby. Sol kept calling Jung, but she didn't answer, so he came to see her in person. "I've been calling you. Why aren't you answering?" he asked. Jo-hoo intervened. "Leave her alone. Jung doesn't want to talk to you anymore." Sol looked at him and calmly said, "I'm sorry, but this is between me and her." Jo-hoo, frustrated, said, "I can't stand by and watch you ruin the only woman I've ever loved. I should have stopped her from signing your ridiculous contract in the first place. You need to stop exploiting her." He grabbed Jung's hand, trying to take her away, but Sol said firmly, "You're right, I should end this contract. But this time, I'm not asking for Jung and Danby because of the contract. I want them because I love them." He turned to Jung and said, "Think about it carefully." Jo-hoo, still emotional, confessed, "I've been in love with you for 7 years, Jung. I never told you because I wanted to wait until your life got better so that I could marry you. You're not just a colleague or a friend to me. I truly love you." Jung responded gently, "You're a wonderful person, a loyal friend, and you've helped me so much since my father passed away. But there's someone else I love. I'm sorry I never realized your feelings before." She then went to Sol and told him, "You have to finish the contract. You need to take back your company and your inheritance from your uncle." Sol sighed. "I'm sorry. At first, I wrote that contract for my own benefit. But now, I don't care about the company. I care more about you and Danby." Jung shook her head. "You can't give up your rights now. You have a daughter named Danby, and the will clearly states that you must have a child to inherit. Take the contract to your lawyer and get back what's yours." Sol followed her advice. He submitted the contract to his lawyer and successfully reclaimed his company. His uncle, furious, confronted him. "So, all this time, you've been fooling us? Pretending to be busy with your so-called lover while secretly adopting a child just to kick me out of the company? After everything I did to raise you as an orphan? Sol looked him in the eyes and said, "Name one day in my life when you actually cared about me. The only person who ever loved me was my grandmother. I would never let her company and her legacy go to you." Later, Sol visited Danby's school and spoke to her classmates kindly. "I'm Danby's father," he told them. "I'm inviting all of you on a camping trip. Make sure to get your parents' permission. There will even be a swimming pool." By doing this, Sol helped restore Danby's confidence in front of her friends and made up for all the times she had felt lonely and out of place. One evening, while Jung was preparing dinner, Sol walked into the kitchen. He handed her a document and said, "Jung, the contract is over. Here's a new one to replace it." She took it and saw that there was a letter attached. "Open it," he said. When she unfolded the letter, it read, "I'm looking for a wife to spend the rest of my life with." And with that, the drama ends. Subscribe for more videos like this one. Tap the bell icon so you will never miss the updates.